OPEC has agreed to cut oil output, but has not yet confirmed by how much. The oil cartel is meeting at the OPEC headquarters in Vienna and says it'll likely reach a final decision on Friday. Saudi Arabia's energy minister said a cut of 1 million barrels a day would be enough to stabilize the markets. OPEC is still waiting on confirmation from Russia that it will also reduce production. The non-OPEC member says it would be difficult to reduce oil output during winter. Oil analysts, however, say a cut of at least 1.3 million barrels a day is needed to balance the market and support oil prices next year. Saudi's comments sent the price of Brent crude down as much as 5% on Thursday to around about $58 a barrel. The planned cuts come despite US President Donald Trump's calls to keep oil flowing to weaken prices. Saudi Arabia, Russia and the United Arab Emirates have raised output since June to offset lower exports from Iran. Since then, the price of crude has fallen almost 20%. Well, let's talk now to the Forbes columnist and oil market analyst, Guarav Sharma, who joins us from Vienna. Good to see you. Thanks for joining us. Does OPEC and its public statements really matter that much anymore? After all, they've never been terribly good at sticking to them, have they?
Well, good to be on the program, and I think it's one of the most strangest OPEC summits that I have attended. But here you go. Just to go back to your point, 3 countries alone, the United States, Russia and Saudi Arabia, are producing in excess of what OPEC pumps, which is 33 million barrels per day. So there is the issue of relevance, and OPEC could not have convened at the worst possible time. First, you had the news of Qatar pulling out, and with good reason, because the Saudis have turned up at the OPEC secretariat here in Vienna asking for a production cut, while they themselves are pumping in excess of 11 million barrels per day. So there was considerable acrimony here, and of course the pipe dream, as it were, was to bring about some sort of a figure of about a cut of 1 million barrels per day, and there were lots of sound bites, but apparently nothing materialized. So in a near unprecedented event in recent times, the meeting ended in a bit of a discord, and they could not come up with a concluding statement.
Meanwhile, there is some sort of final statement tomorrow. We expect further discussions with Russia, don't we, tomorrow?
There is some jiggery-pokery going on behind the scenes, as I understand, and I think the Russians are in town with another 9 non-OPEC producers in tow. So the hope is rather, especially for the market's sake, that all of them come together and finally we have some sort of a concluding statement tomorrow as to what kind of cuts they would announce. And in the interim, as you probably noticed on the wires, and the viewers of this broadcast would notice as well, is that oil is absolutely tanking. We're both benchmarks, whether it's Brent or the West Texas, is down by near 5%. We went to those levels, and there was hope that there will be some kind of a deal. And again, we fell back to sort of 5% declines. So they need to do something urgently if they need to shore up the price. But my point here is that even if they introduce a cut of, say, 1 million, and in tandem with the Russians 1.3 million, I suspect that will still not satisfy the market and bring it to the price levels that they wanted, because there's still, at this point in time, considerable amount of oil in the pipeline. And another thing I think your previous commentator alluded to, the economy is not really that strong. We look at France, Portugal, Spain, Italy, Greece. There are serious concerns, maybe not in the next 6 to 9 months, but perhaps beyond that, that demand itself might take a beating.
President Trump intervened in the discussions some time ago, suggesting his thoughts to Saudi Arabia and what they should produce in terms of oil consumption. Is that intervention useful or not?
Well, I think it's particularly unhelpful to the Saudis while they try to bring the house in order here at OPEC. And by my calculation, President Trump has tweeted no less than 9 times about OPEC. It is unprecedented. I've been coming here for over 10 years, and this is probably the first OPEC summit that I've attended where what the President of the United States is saying has mattered so much and has come up in so much of the discourse. Now, on paper, they will say that they do not get influenced by external factors, But deep down, they must be thinking, because you can make fun of those tweets, and they were roundly dismissed by OPEC in June. But at the end of the day, President Trump prevailed because OPEC did increase production.
Guarav, good to talk to you. Thanks very much for joining us. Talk to you tomorrow, no doubt.